Hello everyone, welcome to our special roundtable discussion with Chongqing Opportunity. I'm your host, James Alexander. In July 2021, Chongqing received approval to construct an international consumption centre city, which is aimed at creating economic growth through investment, consumer spending and the import-export market. Today we have two distinguished guests joining us for the discussion. They are Vincent Wong, Managing Director of Capital Land Development Chongqing, and Raphael Zumsteg, the Southwest China representative of the Swiss Chinese Chamber of Commerce and legal manager of Fensha Holdings Sino-Swiss Technopark. So I'm a bit curious, so how long have you been in Chongqing and what are your impressions of the city?
Yes, that's true. We have quite a lot in common. I first came to China in 2018 in Beijing, where I met my wife. Then in 2019 we decided together to move to Chongqing. And so both my wife and I are actually outsiders. My wife is from Henan, I am from Switzerland. And since 2019 we're discovering the city together and have decided to stay here for good. And of course, like many foreigners coming here, we like to see the combination of big city life and lush green nature.
Yeah, okay. And Vincent, what brought you to Chongqing in the first place?
Oh yeah, I came to Chongqing in 2015 and I love the city, like you, and come here and I will never leave.
Okay, and what did you really like about the city when you first arrived?
Well, I like the city because I find the city is very three-dimensional. It has rivers, it has mountains, and the people are very friendly. So I feel at home here.
Yeah, okay, so if we talk about Chongqing developing into a international consumption centre city, so far to date, how satisfied do you feel on the part of Capital Land with the development in Chongqing?
Yeah, Chongqing is envisaged to develop this consumption centre. And in order to have this, to attract people to come to Chongqing, first, of course, the city must be attractive enough to bring people in. Chongqing, as we have just said, Chongqing is a very interesting city. It has the elements, the interesting elements to excite people, to bring people into the city. When people come, of course, they must have various consumption scenarios for them to come, for them to enjoy. So in Chongqing, we have our main, we have two projects currently. One of them is Raffles City, Chongqing. It is an integrated development in Chaotianmen. I guess both of you know where Chaotianmen is.
Of course.
Yes.
Yeah, so Raffles City, Chongqing is an integrated development. It provides various consumption scenarios for our consumers, for our visitors. We have a shopping mall, we have offices, we have hotels, we have service apartment. And we also have, this horizontal skyscraper. That is our Crystal. The Crystal, we have a viewing gallery, we have a clubhouse, we also have concepts of 5 concepts restaurants situated at 250 meters above the ground.
So Raphael, have you had many opportunities to visit Raffles Square?
Yes, of course. I remember it pretty clearly. The first time I came to Chongqing was in 2019, and then Raffles was at the end of the construction period. And then we went several times to the hotel. We went to see the Crystal. We went to the mall, and yeah, it's a very impressive property, both from the inside and from the outside. Really, it's become a flagship symbol for the whole city.
And another area I'm curious about as well. I mean, to date, how has Raffles performed in terms of consumption? Has it kind of met your expectations in terms of consumer performance?
When we opened in 2019, September, we have about 350,000 visitors in one day. So it was overwhelmed. We are overwhelmed with customers on that day. The whole Chaotianmen Plaza was flooded with visitors. So we were quite happy. Because for our shopping mall, what we wish to do is that we wanted to bring more options for our customers. More consumption scenarios, more options, more choices. So what we do is that we try to bring in first-time brand to Chongqing or flagship stores. So when we opened in 2019, we have 40% of our area are actually first-time brand in Chongqing or flagship stores. So this vision has not changed. So we keep on upgrading our mix to provide a different shopping experiences to our customers.
But Raphael, I'm also a little bit curious as well. What do you see many big differences between commercial malls in China and Switzerland? And do you feel that they've over here in China, they've managed to learn or gain some experience from the products and services that are on offer in Switzerland?
I think there's some significant differences between malls here in China and Europe. Now I'm especially speaking from a Swiss perspective. Swiss malls tend to be, of course, much smaller in size, so less shops. And then what I also saw was that there are much less food shops, food outlets and restaurants in Swiss malls than there are in Chinese malls. So usually there's at least one or even two floors with food courts, whereas in Switzerland we only have a few limited restaurants, and the other restaurants might be situated outside the whole shopping mall. So that's a key thing. And I think it's both, let's say both places can learn from each other. Maybe in the past China was learning a lot from the Western shopping experience, and now I think Westerners are looking more towards China. How do Chinese consume, and could some of those innovative approaches be brought back to Europe, Northern America, so on and so forth?
I suppose the other side of it is also the services, like consumer services. In your experience, do you feel there are any areas in Chongqing or China in general where there need to be any improvements?
Well, I think what we need to do to increase customer spending and to really set up this consumer center, I think very important is that we really need to increase our service level. So what we do in Raffles City Chongqing is that we have retrain and train all our staff to provide services from the heart. It is not a standard SOPs, or it's not that a certain process that you follow. It is really that everybody from the heart must be able or must willing to serve these customers. That is what we are trying to do, and we wanted to create this into our DNA in Raffles City Chongqing.
But what about the Sino-Swiss Technopark? Because I understand recently that they've started building a second phase construction there. So obviously that's going very well. But what kind of effects has the pandemic had on the on development of the Swiss Sino Technopark?
So, because we also conceived one part of the Sino-Swiss Technopark as an incubation center, so to attract foreign talents, and then provide them with an office space within our park, and that was actually really conceived for foreign companies. So now we also had to be a bit flexible due to these travel restrictions and open that space up for domestic local companies that can settle there in the co-working space. I think that was one of the impacts. Another impact is that we annually host our business incubation competition that is together with the Smart China Expo here always in August every year. And usually we invited delegations from Europe, Switzerland, France, Germany to attend the competition and to travel to several places in China to meet potential investors. And since 2 years, the event has taken place online, which has taken away some of the drive. But as I think all of us, we are confident that in the near future, we will be able again to hold an offline event and actually be able to invite people coming over here.
Have you had many opportunities to go and experience the travel side of things in Chongqing, outside of the big city?
Oh yeah, I've traveled to a few places. I've been to like Wulong, there's Qingdaoxia. There are few scenic places because I love nature. So sometimes I go to mountain climbing around these places. So it was rather interesting. That's right.
Yeah, and Raphael, have you done much travel in Chongqing?
So we had a very funny camping experience in Jinfoshan. We went there last August, and when we pitched our tent at a very nice spot to look at the waterfall, there were cows coming. So you see you're in the middle of the wild, and feels rural, almost feels like Switzerland. Yeah, and other nice spots, of course, we live in Beibei, so also went to Qingdaosha and taking a cable car there. Yeah, very nice.
Nice place.
I suppose the final part of our program then is looking to the future a little bit. So we've touched a little bit on what Chongqing needs to do to improve our products and services. But from the point of view of capital land, what do you hope to see change in the near future in Chongqing?
Well, I think Chongqing is progressing very fast, and Chongqing is also very pro-business, and we hope to see that there will be more cooperation between corporates among the same district, so that we can bring in more customers into the same district, and we also hope to have more even better pro-business policies from the government, and we hope to work more closely with the government to develop this city together.
Sure. And Raphael, what do you think of the business environment in Chongqing? Would you still say it's not very attractive to businesses in Europe?
It is definitely still very attractive. It's still, for several businesses and markets, they haven't explored that. So we also count on that in the future. More companies would like to set up a business here. That's also why we're building phase 2 that includes, among others, also a shopping mall, office building. And we also, from our experience, government has been very, very helpful in the past.
That brings our special roundtable discussion to an end. Many thanks to our two guests, Vincent Wang and Raphael Zumsteg, for sharing their great insights with us today, and to our audience for following this special episode of Chongqing Opportunity. Please continue to follow us as we bring you the latest developments in Chongqing as it constructs an international consumption centre city. Thank you, and see you again next time.